Okay, part two, I guess. Anyway, we're live here at the point at teahupoo, and yeah, I've just looked at the conditions. The contest has been called off today. The conditions are a little bit onshore. The swells dropped. There's supposed to be a lot more swell on the way. Good swell coming in Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The only question is the wind, whether the wind's going to hold and make it so that it's competitive. I'm just going to swing this camera around. I'm just looking at something that's pretty awesome right now. The back of the valley here is just started to light up, and it's looking pretty awesome. So here's these big peaks in the back, and yeah, it's really neat back here in the valley. And let's see, I'll pan around. You can see the indicator over here. Yeah, it's kind of crumbly, mushy conditions right now. And the winds are actually supposed to not be so great, so it's going to be, yeah. So anyway, the contest is off, if you didn't know already. And let's see if I can get out here. And it's not that consistent either, so it's dropped off. The winds are junk, contest off, probably until Thursday at the earliest, but maybe Friday. Thursday, the winds look like they're kind of junky. So yeah, so JC tuning in, yeah, so probably Friday, probably let's see if I can tune this in. There we go. Yeah, probably Thursday, Friday, more than likely Friday, Saturday now, based on the latest wind report. But if the winds get good, if the winds do get good or favorable on Thursday, they'll run it for sure, because it looks like there's plenty of swell. So thanks you guys for tuning in. Martin, Miguel, Paul, Arquettes, Agar. Hi, Mike and Tanner here. Solitaire. Yeah, sick. Thanks for tuning in. The hand planes. Yeah, okay. So I got some hand planes from this guy, and he gave us some Elias. Tanner's been ripping on the Elia you made. It's been pretty sick. Jason, Costa Rica watching. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, JC. JC, Johnny, Bridges, we're back. Hello from Hong Kong. Looking forward to the rest of the comp. Yeah, we all are. And you know, what's nice about the little break in the action is it gives people time to contemplate and really gather their thoughts and gather their kind of their direction, right? So, you know, after watching Brahim and a couple guys going big, you know, guys are just going to start going, okay, well, this is what I got to do. They're kind of gathering their thoughts, figuring out what their game plan is going to be, and you should see some next level action and during the next rounds. It's going to be pretty sick. If the conditions warrant it, and there's going to be ramps, you're going to see guys pushing, bodyboarding, and this is one of those events and one of those venues that it can actually push the whole sport forward a couple notches. And I'm kind of going out not too far on a limb, because I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, but I'm going to say that's going to end up happening here. It's going to be guys are going to be pushing it so far and hard that it's going to take the sport up a couple notches. Here's Guillermo Lopez. Okay, Mike, in your opinion, what was the highest invert at the comp? For him, for sure. But Jacob Romero at Arica, that was another huge one. That might have been a little bit bigger. It was a bigger wave. That was absolutely massive. And also, don't forget, Jeff Hubbard is still in the mix here. So you're going to see him kind of trying to really stamp his mark on this event. So you got him, and so there's a bunch of guys that are gonna go big. Jose Octavio is still in from Brazil. He's the guy that serves Giant Itacoatiara, another venue that's on the APB World Tour, and he's gonna be he'll be going big. So everyone's gonna be going huge, you know. And hey, even for me and everyone, like it, you know, guys that aren't, you know, this wave is such a ramp and so much power, you can pretty much go to the moon on it. So just depends on how heats how they happen. But there's there's all kinds of opportunity to do. Yeah, Jorge de Jesus mentioned. Oh, losing this a little bit. Hold on, gang. Let's see here. Got a little bit. Let me see if I can adjust this. Oh. Yeah, I got a little bit of a. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to this camera. For some reason, that front camera is getting a little bit messed up. Okay, someone asked what kind of fins I use. I'm using Delta Vipers. Those are pretty sick. Out here, they got good control. Craig De La Rey, Mike explained to us. Hold on here. Explain to us the forces a person would experience landing an invert double over chokes, flexing ribs. Yeah, so you know some of the things that you got to deal with landing is. Especially doing inverts, because what happens with inverts is you hit it and then a lot of times you get projected inward, which is towards the flat of the wave, and when you do that you're susceptible to flat water and high impact, and that's what you kind of want to avoid if you can, just because it's pretty demanding on your body and it can be really violent impacts. So typically, if you can, you kind of want to land either on the white water. I mean, sometimes the wave will break and then explode, and then on that upward push, you can land on your board, and kind of that'll help alleviate the impact. And then that's actually a pretty good technique if you can do that. You can't always do that. I mean, in the case of Brahim, it's like, hey, throw your dice, hit it, and just see what happens. A lot of times, that's what ends up with guys going for it like they do. You just hit it and hope that it works out. But if you can land also back on the transition of a steep face, that can help. And sometimes when you do different maneuvers like reverse airs or forward airs, you're kind of more up and down, and so you land more closer to the wave and back onto the wave, and that can be less impact. So I don't know if that explains it at all, but it's basically how you project out of the maneuver and where you end up going. So in the case of like Brahim's, like he hit it, if you watch it, he hit it and went straight inward, which is super nuts, but it's also pretty dangerous, especially out here. You know, the reef is so shallow and it's very sharp. I mean, you just brush up against it, you know, it will open you up. So the inside's basically exposed. So you have to wait for a wave to come under you if you want to go over it. Otherwise, you're just going to dry dock. So the wave itself breaks right up onto dry reef, which makes it, you know, a little bit more, makes it that much more challenging because you don't want to eat it. So the reef gets really shallow. It starts off at a normal reef type of depth, but it comes, you know, the interesting thing about teahupoo is that the shape of the reef is like this. I mean, from depths, like you know, to where it goes deep is like, you know, hundreds of meters deep, and then it just comes right up onto the shelf in a gradual curve, and then right up onto dry reef, basically. So it just kind of rolls up, bowls, and then it'll go right up onto the dry reef. So you gotta. That's why they got skis on the inside here. You know, they'll have skis pulling guys out of the lagoon, they say, and then they run all the way around to drop them off. Let's see, Kenzen S. Ihara, how shallow is the inside? Yeah, okay, so I kind of answered that. I'm not catching up here, sorry guys. Chris, I do feel that you have an advantage on everyone with your experience of surfing chopes. Do you have any secret points to use in the spot position? Yeah, I do think I have a little bit of an advantage as far as, like, I know the wave pretty well, but and you know, that has probably come in handy a couple times. But you know, the level of riding and the way the guys surf and their knowledge of wave riding is such that you know, they're so good at picking up on the little nuances and really adapting quickly, and so it's anyone's game out here, really. You know, it's just a matter of the guys getting the right waves and doing the right things on them. I mean, it's just like every other event. Let's see. Yeah, there's definitely a webcast. I don't know if you've seen it. Go to the apbtour.com, and they have a webcast I think things might be off today, but it's like a lady, but I'm not sure. There might be a webcast a little bit later or a morning show. I'm not certain. But there's been morning shows, and actually check it out. I was on there yesterday. That was kind of cool. It's kind of fun to do that with Eric Apple. And but anyway, Dave Hubbard holding it down with the webcast, and Manny B. You know, Dave's got some great insight, and Manny's a great commentator as well. Let's see, getting to the bottom here. Your 6'2", 83 kilograms with a 42.5 board is okay. That's small, but that's okay if you're on if you're in hollow waves. Hollow waves work good. The hollower the wave, the smaller the board can be. So it's fine if you're in hollow, powerful surf. And so yeah, you can, on my website I got a pretty cool thing called a board selector. You can go on there, go to the sciencebodyboards.net, click on boards, and the first item that comes down is like a board finder, and you can put in your information there, and it'll kick out the right dimensions and size for you. Whether you buy my boards or whoever's, it will give you a good idea of what to ride and why to ride it. So let's see. Yeah, okay, here's a cool one. Craig De La Rey. Dave, what is your opinion in Dave Hubbard's pushing DK and APB event? I love it. I think we should revise the rules personally. I think we should allow any kind of posture. I don't think bodyboarding should really be limited to prone. I think it has more to do with what you're doing on the wave and how you're doing it. And so I think Dave should be getting scored, myself personally. Let's see.